Okay, welcome everyone to this webinar on AI in recruitment. My name is Paul and I've been with Mojob since early 2018 as CMO. So Tobias Nervik will join me as co-host for this webinar. Tobias is the co-founder and CEO of Mojob since 2014. And we are grateful to have Brage Grytan Staven with us as expert panelist. Brage has been with Mojob since 2016 and is our tech lead and subject matter expert on AI in recruitment. So I'll say a couple of more words on introduction part before we move on to Brage, who will introduce you to AI. Then Tobias will talk a little bit about what AI can offer recruitment and business performance. Then Brage will talk about Mojob's AI technology, Maive, and provide a swift demo on this. Then Brage, me and Tobias will share some of our experiences with AI technology thus far. At the end, we'll do a Q&A session. And if anyone wants to stay a bit longer, we will stay with you a bit more after the webinar, if necessary. So PricewaterhouseCoopers in Denmark did an interesting survey of CEOs just recently. And they found that 8 out of 10 CEOs say AI will substantially change the way their companies conduct business. And 7 out of 10 CEOs consider AI to become more influential than the internet revolution. So with this in mind, I'll hand over the mic to Brage. See here.
Yeah, hi Paul. Thank you.
There you go.
And there we are. So hi everyone, my name is Brage. I'm a tech lead at Mojob. I studied at NTNU in Trondheim, and I've been working in Mojob for 3 years now. For the last 6 months, I've been responsible for us releasing our continuously growing AI platform called Maive. And I will now try to the best of my ability to explain what AI is in just a couple of slides. So AI is all about making machines smart. We do this by applying learning algorithms to data and to allow computers to solve problems which used to be solved only by humans. The reason AI is not as smart as we want it to be today is because our brain is very complex. If we look at the right image on the presentation here, this is actually a subpart of our brain. And the left image here is a simulated matter distribution of the entire universe. So we can easily understand why we think our brain is so complex. I will also talk a bit about the umbrella term, which is artificial intelligence. And in that term, we have many other terms and learning algorithms. For example, in the top branch here, in the top blue branch, we have something called machine learning. And within that, we have something called deep learning. This is a neural network. And because they say it's deep, it's a neural network with many layers. Unfortunately, I can only scratch the surface here with my time, but let's try our best. And the next one is supervised learning. This is often used with something called regression and classification models. We also have unsupervised learning. This is often connected with clustering algorithms. So let's look at the next branch, which is natural language processing, NLP. This is all about text and text handling. So we can do text sentiment analysis, for example, and we can extract data from text and classification, etc. We also have a branch with the vision, and this is the branch we want to go to if we want to classify an image. If this image is a cat or a dog, or also in our cars, in our autopilot, in Tesla autopilot, we have a lot of vision. So yeah, that's a small introduction.
Yes, so then I'll give you guys a quick introduction to how we've seen businesses use AI to date, and a bit more about what we see as the future of recruitment. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna tell you a brief story that shows how we see AI in real businesses today, mostly. And let's say you walked into your local grocery store around 1920. You would be meeting person who knew you, who was typically standing behind the counter and could help you and cater your needs and give you the goods you actually wanted. If we fast forward to 1980, the supermarkets were how you got your groceries. So here you were left largely to your own. You would have to find the goods among many others in large areas, but you were willing to trade that tailored experience from the 1920s for lower prices. And what we see now and what we have seen, especially in leading tech companies like Amazon, we've seen that they have used their data and AI to create that tailored 1920 grocers experience online, right? So they are able to know us better than ourselves, give us recommendation for products, and also tailor marketing and communication towards specific people. So they have been leading the way, but we see now that all customer facing businesses are getting better and better at this. And among like traditional businesses that we have researched, these types of businesses are typically the ones that are the best in using AI and gaining value from it. Examples of this is a company called Agile One that helps typically B2C companies do this through a customer data platform, where they basically get all your data, find, learn about each specific customer, cluster them, and then tailor marketing and experiences for each customer. And we believe that we're going to see this more and more industries. They will start combining the human touch with high tech and large scale. And this is what we will also try to apply in recruitment more and more. We've already succeeded with parts of it, but we hope that we can also assist and automate recruitment processes case by case at a large scale. Yeah, and we believe that this will lead to better customer experiences or better candidate experiences and more revenue per customer for the company. So so an win-win situation utilizing AI in business. All right. All right, yeah. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue with demoing some of what we have in Mai. And I will talk about how we select a learning algorithm, how we train the AI model, and how we do inference, like how we get the output from the AI model. So let's start with selecting the learning algorithm. There are many of them, and which to pick depends on the data you have and the problem you want to solve. So let's say that we are to create an AI model which gives an application a score from 0 to infinite in how likely the model is to hire a candidate. So 0 is not so good and infinite is very good. Then we start at the yellow circle. We ask ourselves, do we have more than 50 data observations or data samples? And in Mojave, we have more than 50,000. So we answer yes. And we go into, are we predicting a category? So we are not, because we are actually predicting a continuous variable from 0 to infinite. But if we were to do classification, which is often what we do when we predict a category, like, is this email spam, or is this tumor malignant, or yeah, these kinds of classifications. But we answer no here and go into the question, are we predicting a quantity? And for this, we answer yes, because we are predicting a number, and then we're inside the regression bubble. And inside this bubble, there's a lot of learning algorithms we can choose from. And we can also do a bit more heavy algorithms like deep learning with many layers. So now we know what learning algorithm to apply. We need to figure out what kind of data we're going to send to it in training. So on the right side here, we have an image of one of our steps in the application process. And this step actually uses a CV parser, which uses NLP NLP, which I touched on earlier in the presentation, natural language processing. So it extracts data from text. And to extract the correct data from this application into the AI model, we need to use domain knowledge. The AI models are only as good as the data we input. Therefore, selecting the features is extremely important. We also do some trial and error to improve the models, because sometimes the AI model sees some connections that we humans can't see. And we have some example features we can extract from the application, like the distance from a job and a user, and the number of correct multiple choice answers, and etc. So let's look at how we can extract data from a video. So we start by splitting the video into images. So 1 second is split up into 5 images. So every 0.2 second is an image. Each of these images are converted to a grayscale value. So if you have a look at the animation here, you can see that the black parts of the number have a value approximately 255. But the white pixel have a value of around 0. Then we take these grayscale converted numbers and send them to a convolutional neural network. This is a complex neural network, but one of its features is this sliding window, as we see in the animation here. So when we train the data, we send the converted grayscale numbers into the convolutional neural network, and that it tries to find patterns and learn patterns from the data we send in. So the next thing we're going to look at is the inference, or the output. So this is the result we can get from training these kinds of networks. So in the top left corner here, you can see we have an emotional report. And you can see that my face is showing most of the emotion happy. So to summarize what happens here, we can see that the green square is zooming in on my face. And the next thing that happens is that we convert my face into a grayscale like we did with the number. And then we send this to the AI model. And then the AI model uses the red dots in my face. It uses that to help the model predict what kind of emotion I'm using. So I think that these kinds of model can really help our applicants deliver even better video interviews. For instance, if they show a lot of fear in their video, we can tell them to relax, take a breath, and maybe re-record the video. And then we're going to talk about bias. Helen had a really great input on bias last webinar. And we have to accept that we are biased and build structure, tools, and systems to help us overcome it. And because our data set consists of decisions made by recruiters in many different countries and many different companies, our AI models will reflect some of their biases. So we have to think about things like gender bias. How will video interview feature extraction work for people with disabilities? How will age affect the decisions that are made, etc.? So how can we avoid bias? It helps to avoid an incomplete and skewed data set. So for our video models, we have chosen to add some more diversity by using a YouTube training data set. And this data set contains English-speaking people so that we get more differences in age, gender, nationality, and ethnicity. We can also do something called algorithmic debiasing. So this, one of the tools here is to cluster the applicants into groups and then do a test for all of the groups to see if they are discriminated in any way by the AI models. And if they are, penalize the discrimination. We can also do features and modeling techniques. For example, the early technology in speech-to-text technology performed very poorly for female speakers as compared to males. The reason was that speech was analyzed and modeled more accurately for taller speakers with longer vocal cords and lower pitched voices. But that is definitely something we have to avoid. Thank you. That was a short introduction to Mike.
Thank you, Boya. I'll bring back the mic here. So let's have a look at some of our experiences with AI technology thus far, in addition to what mentioned. And we have mainly been helping retail and service industries with technology to attract, assess, and select talent. Through our observations and talks with decision makers, recruiters, and even job seekers, we see great gains to be made by introducing AI technology. Especially when it comes to handling volume recruitments, for example, helping recruiters read CVs and assessing large number of candidates. But also in terms of securing more positive candidate experiences. For example, through securing meaningful feedback to all candidates, which again has important long-term branding effects. And although AI in recruitment is in its early stage, at least in these industries, we are experiencing an increased awareness and readiness to try out AI technology for recruitment. And as pointed out at the end there, we are typically experiencing a focus on trying AI for the more initial screening phase of candidates. So I don't know, Tobias, if you would like to add anything, or if we should fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, so we have, for now, we're mostly advising the users on what decisions they should make. So we are closing up on that point where we can actually trust the AI in making early decisions. But we have some steps to take before we're quite ready for that.
Awesome. Brage, would you like to talk a little bit on this slide here? I can just stare the slides from here.
Yeah, it's so the important focus areas has been to build a scalable data pipeline or machine learning pipeline. It's really important and very time consuming.
Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, so I discussed a bit what we did with finding the algorithm, training on data, and then doing inference. So these are three very time consuming tasks and very computationally heavy. So we need to have a scalable data pipeline. So when you have a lot of data, we need big computers, and we need to be able to start training like continuously. We have to train every day and to update the models. And this is also connected with continuously fighting bias, because we use our data pipeline to continuously work and improve our models.
So that is like you have the data set, and then you've built a pipeline that looks into how well is the AI performing against like the results we are seeing, and then it improves the algorithm, right?
Very good. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. So then Q&A session. Use your chat or raise the hand function, and we'll try to answer the best we can and engage in discussions with you if you have any questions. Okay, feel free.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question, again, out of curiosity? Could you just explain to us like the big parts of different AI functions again? You talked about machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
and you talked about NLP.
Yeah.
Those are mainly the ones we are using, right? Combined with vision. But what are examples of use cases for machine learning and NLP that we see in our daily lives?
In general?
Yeah.
For NLP, the first that comes in mind to me is, as we see, CV parsers. It's used a lot in search. So when you do a search, you don't just search for the letters. You also search for like personal features, like how old you are and stuff. So we also have it in recommender systems, as you talked about. So it's baked in so a lot of these AI models are combined in that way. So you use some sentiment analysis in NLP text analysis, and you can combine that with some machine learning, where you extract other features. For example, if you want to predict house pricing, you send in features like the size of the house and the locality, and so
Okay.
yeah.
So, but is it a fair statement to say that NLP is basically an algorithm that tries to understand language and learn what different words means? And
Yeah, there's a lot of different algorithms and attempts to understand language, but it's basically all about text and how to structure it and how to extract meaning from text, because it's really easy to just look at letters, and sometimes Google Translate is working like this. It's a direct translation, but the next level is to understand what we want to translate.
Right.
So so we get a better translation.
Yeah.
Good. Not receiving any chats or raise hands here. So I don't know, Bogge, is there anything else you would like to share before we end this webinar?
Nah, not on top of my head, but it's always fun sharing what you do on a daily basis.
Great. And if you guys have any questions afterwards, just email us. I suppose Paul has been emailing you regarding this webinar. So just shoot him a message, and Brage and I will assist him in answering your questions.
Also, and I will make sure to send over the slides to attendees, together with also the recordings here when we have that ready.
All right.
So thank you all for attending, and have a nice day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.